Okay, moving on. Michael Dryden asks, now that you are doing more opinion videos, would you consider making a video about the things that you like and dislike about the RPGs for today and the past? At the same time, you could compare the major differences between modern and old school RPGs and possibly tell us what your ideal RPG would be like. As my favourite Let's Player and as someone who has played a variety of RPGs, your opinion on the matter would be extremely interesting and appreciated. I think I would consider making a video about that, actually. That's a very good topic, actually, and one I feel I'd be able to talk about with some measure of authority. So yeah, actually, you know, at some point in the future, when I get around to doing another opinion video, and I'm taking a little break from that because, I'll tell you, some of the blowback from the... Like, I love the response that the dumbing down videos got, but the blowback from some of them, it's been a bit stressful to say the least. So I'm having a teensy-weensy break until I produce another opinion video. But yeah, no, that's definitely a topic which would be more than worth discussing. You know, it's something almost that I feel I would love to get someone else on the video to discuss with me if they were willing. You know. Actually, now I think about it, I won't name any names, but yeah, there's a couple of people I can think of that I would love to ask the same question to as well, actually. So, there you go. Moving on. Okay, Solidus Games asked, how old are you? I already answered this, but in case you forgot, I'm 22. Dumek asks, are you planning on doing any more Kaiser? Guys, please watch the channel updates. It's not that hard. Oh God. No, the answer is no. I'm not doing any more, and I've already answered this like 3 times. Okay, so anyway, he did have some other questions, so I'll read those instead. Okay, so Dumek asks, I've watched, well, he says, I've watched most of your LPs on the Elder Scrolls, and I do thoroughly enjoy them. I don't have one question, but 3. Actually, you had 4, because you asked that other one as well, but anyway. Answer them at your own leisure, if you answer them at all. So without further ado, are you making some form of money off your videos, or are you at uni or work? I am both, technically speaking, at uni. I am still a student of Norwich University, even though I'm currently not living in Norwich. I am enrolled, after all, and all that kind of stuff. So I am at uni, but yes, I am actually making money off these videos. I am partnered with a company called TGN, you know, a partnership network called TGN, who are owned by a company called Broadband TV, and I allow them to put ads on my videos, and in return I get a cut of that ad revenue generated by putting the ads on those videos, and that's how I get my money, and that's how I'm paid. So yeah, I do earn money. Question 2, are you considering doing any older RPGs in the future, things like the original Fable? That's not actually that old, if we're honest, but anyway. The original Fable, and other older Elder Scrolls games like Arena and Daggerfall. As I've already said, I may do a Daggerfall Let's Play one day. I don't have the original Fable on PC, although I used to play the crap out of it on Xbox. It's the one Fable game which I did actually like, the other ones I didn't much care for. And question 3, finally, is the Oblivion LP with Idris going to be continuous? I'm not really sure what you mean by continuous. Like, it's not gonna, it will end eventually. There will come a point where we finally finish that Let's Play, because I've got some very clear goals in mind for what I want to achieve in it, and once those goals are achieved, then the Let's Play will end. I will not simply move on to, right, okay, we've done that. Let's go and do something else now. Let's go do the Shivering Isles, now we're done with that, and after that, let's go do the Mages Guild, and after that, let's go do Knights of the Night. No, I've got a very specific goal in mind I want to achieve with that Let's Play, and after that is achieved, the Let's Play will end. So yeah, it's not really going to be continuous, if that's what you meant by continuous, which I assume you did. Okay, moving on. Moving on further, because I can't find any more questions. Hello, Uni. Mr. Unlogical asks, can I have your babies? Anytime, anywhere, mate. Michael Hinkson asks here, what is your favourite age in Middle-earth, and who is your favourite character from that age? Now this is fairly easy for me to answer because I have not read the Silmarillion, even though I own a copy of it, so I know very little about any of the other ages in Middle-earth other than the Third Age. And as for my favourite character from the Third Age, Bilbo Baggins. Hands down. There is not a greater character in all of the Lord of the Rings books than Bilbo Baggins as far as I'm concerned. That guy is brilliant. Love him to bits. He's brilliant, he's great, and he's awesome in the film as well. Like, they could not have cast a better actor to play the role of Bilbo Baggins. So many great lines that guy has, it's amazing. Like, what was the one about conkers someone reminded me of the other day? Oh yeah, it was like, I can't remember which conversation it was part of, but there's this great bit where Bilbo just goes like, I have some considerable skill at conkers, but I fail to see how that's relevant to our quest. So, yeah, just, oh man, Bilbo Baggins, what a dude. What a dude. Anyway. Okay. I don't have Vids 1 asks, is Hardcore Morrowind ever going to make a return? Well, by the time you see this video, it will have. So there you go. Matthew Houghton asks, what's your fave food? And the answer to that is chili con carne. Very nice stuff. Closely followed by curry. In fact, one frequently overtakes the other depending on my mood. I'm much better at cooking curries than I am at cooking chili con carnes, but yeah. I probably have to hand it to chili con carne, really. I could live off that stuff for the rest of my life and never eat anything else, and I would never get bored of it. And that's the honest truth. True story. Anyway. Quickitch. Hello, by the way, Quickitch. Quickitch asks, if you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you go? And the answer to that question is quite simple, and it would be India. I've long wanted to go to India, see the place for myself. If everywhere in the world I'd want to go and explore and, you know, see the sights and sounds of it, it's definitely India. That place is amazing. It's one hell of a country, India. As I've mentioned before in the past, my dad actually went and lived in India for a number of years, I think, back when he was an archaeologist, and my house is full of stuff that he brought back from India with him, like old rugs, statuettes. The whole place looks like, honestly, our house, like when we used to have, we've put a lot of them away in the loft by now, but when we used to have all the old bits and bobs out from his archaeology days, the whole freaking house looked like it was like Indiana Jones lived here. It was mental. It was brilliant. We had mannequins, puppets, statuettes, figurines, rugs, tapestries, the whole bloody lot, you know. And most, if not all of it, came from India. And ever since looking at all these old rugs and stuff when I was very little, I've always wanted to go to India. I still have, in fact, a camel hair blanket, which I have on my bed. It's a horrible itchy scratchy thing, but it's very good at insulating. So, and that's from India. So, yeah, India. That's my definite final answer. Okay. Rants-O asks, how many innocent babies died in your garage? It's a trick question because I don't have a garage, so there. That's what you get for asking a silly question. You get a silly answer. Okay, Salochin. Sorry, I'm not sure how I'm pronouncing that. Salocin, maybe. How do you feel about the Elder Scrolls Online? Yep. Well, we've already covered that, haven't we? And how excited were you when you first watched the Skyrim trailer? Yeah, I kind of did my nut a bit, really, when I saw the Skyrim trailer. I was, along with probably a lot of people, fairly convinced they weren't going to make another Elder Scrolls game, so when they announced Skyrim was going to be a thing and it was going to happen, I completely lost it. I think I went berserk, really. I sat there on YouTube and rewatched the trailer about 15 times, and that's not an exaggeration. I literally must have rewatched it about 15 times, one after the other. And that pretty much repeated itself again when they released the full gameplay trailer as well. So, mainly just listening to it for the new version of the Elder Scrolls theme, actually. So yeah, no, I completely lost it. I went totally nutty berserk. I don't know if I'll have the same reaction again with Elder Scrolls 6, but I imagine I probably will. As much as I'd like to think I'm more mature than that. The announcement of a new Elder Scrolls game reduces me to a babbling 7-year-old, I'm afraid. So there you go. Also, of all the DLCs in the Elder Scrolls series, which was the most enjoyable to you? Oh boy, well there's been a lot of them, hasn't there? So it's very difficult to choose. The standout favourites, though, probably have to go to Blood Moon. So far, like I've not played Dragonborn properly yet, and I've not finished Dawnguard, so bear that in mind when I say this, but yeah, let's go to Blood Moon, the Shivering Isles, possibly Knights of the Nine, because I actually really like Knights of the Nine. I thought it was pretty damn cool. Aside from the horse armor, Bethesda are really on the money with the big DLC for Oblivion. And Dawnguard's really good so far, actually. I really like it. I think it's really cool. I'm really impressed. As far as I'm concerned, Dawnguard is better than the main quest. By far. It's way better than the main quest. There'll probably be plenty of people that disagree with me on that, but yeah, no, as far as I'm concerned, Dawnguard's far more interesting than the main quest ever was. So yeah, I really like that so far. But yeah, no, I think overall, best of the best of the best of the best probably might have to go to... Oh man, I don't know, maybe... From a more mature perspective, I think, categorically speaking, probably the Shivering Isles was the most creative of the DLCs, and probably the most... From a design perspective, probably the most impressive, and therefore you might say that's the best, but... I had more fun playing Blood Moon than I had playing the Shivering Isles, so... Yeah, I'm probably going to go with Blood Moon. I have a lot of fun memories from that. I had entire characters which I literally just played on Solstheim and who never went to Vardenfell or any of that stuff. They literally, I would have entire characters where I just played around on Solstheim and mucked about and did stuff there. Yeah, really liked that DLC. It was really cool. It wasn't a DLC back then, of course. It was an expansion pack. Sad thing is, those things have gone the way of the dodo these days. Apparently, it's all DLC now. Never mind. Can't be helped. So, the thing I really want to know is that on a bit of a tangent here, but these new like CRPGs coming out that have been funded through Kickstarter, like Project Eternity, I wonder if they're gonna have old style expansion packs like Throne of Baal or Tales of the Sword Coast. You know, it'd be pretty neat if they did. Actually, that'd be pretty awesome. You know, proper full-on sized expansion packs with a whole shit ton of content in them. Yeah. That I'd be really impressed by if they decided to do that. But anyway, Richard Charlton asks, was there anything that sparked Idris's backstory, or did you make it up? Nothing really that sparked it. I just kind of decided one day that if I do an Oblivion Let's Play, I'd want to do it with a mage character. And I decided, well, if I'm going to do a mage character, I'm probably going to pick a high elf rather than a Breton. And so it kind of just went from there, really. I mean, he's got kind of a cliched backstory at the end of the day, like, oh, he's an outcast sent to flee from his home city or whatever to foreign land. You know, Idris is kind of he's practically a magical elvish version of the guy from 13th Warrior at the end of the day, I suppose. So you know, it's not exactly, he doesn't actually exactly have a unique backstory, does he? So, but it's a functional one. It does the job. So there it is. No, there wasn't really anything that sparked it. I just kind of made it up on the spot, really, without a great deal of effort, I'm sad to say. Mr. Limbofication asks, where is my family? And the answer is wherever you left them. And although I'm fairly sure you're making a reference to something, because otherwise you wouldn't have 6 thumbs up. Without me knowing what the hell it is you're talking about. So, unfortunately, if you were making a reference, I didn't catch it. 101 Reviewers ask, what's my PC specs? My PC specs you can find on my channel page under the FAQ section at the top right. If you click more on there, it'll drop down, and you should be able to see my PC specs listed on there. They are up to date. I make sure of that. along with a whole bunch of frequently asked questions, which I would have appreciated if people had actually read those at that FAQ before asking some of their questions on this Q&A, but never mind. Unfortunately, it's kind of a bit stuck out of the way because YouTube doesn't give you an easy way of directing you to an FAQ or something like that on the channel page, because a lot of people don't even ever click on your channel page very often. So there it is. Awesome Dwarf Eats You asks, do you know what Skywind is? Yeah, I know what Skywind is. I only get like 10 emails a day about it. Cornerman Productions, hi there by the way, asks if you could remove any feature in the recent Elder Scrolls games, Morrowind, Morrowind, Skyrim, etc., what would you take out and why? Remove a feature? That's a cool question, that is. Most people ask, what would you add? But no, what would you remove? I think the obvious answer for a lot of people is going to be the leveling system. But actually, I've kind of... I think my hardcore gamer cred is going to go straight out the window with this, but never mind. I'm very much in Gix's camp on this, and I've actually sort of slowly come to appreciate the benefits of the leveling system in the Elder Scrolls games. I don't like the way Oblivion approached it, where freaking everything, even the loot, was leveled. That seems a bit dumb, and everything was still too easy. But I do prefer sort of Fallout 3's and Skyrim's approach, whereby a good deal of the world is leveled, but some of it isn't. And even some of the stuff that is leveled is still often, like, if you have a boss fight... See, if I'm going through a dungeon and I reach a boss fight, and if it's maybe if I'm maybe playing Morrowind or Oblivion with the Overhaul mod installed and stuff, I get to a boss fight who is just way too difficult for me to ever defeat. Some people like having to go away, run away, and come back like 40 hours later into their playthrough to actually beat the guy. But I don't enjoy that, if I'm honest. Neither do I, on the other hand, like it to be too easy. Like, ideally, a good boss fight at the end of a dungeon like that is going to be relatively tailored to my level, but it's going to be tailored to my level in the sense that it's just hard enough to make me sit there and rethink how I'm going to do the fight, have to reload it maybe a bunch of times, and generally have a difficult time killing the bastard. But I don't want to have him be so powerful that I literally just have to go away and come back later, because that's just irritating as far as I'm concerned. If I have to go away and come back later because maybe I don't have enough potions or something, fair enough. But if I have to go away and come back later because my stats simply aren't high enough, that's just annoying. That is. It really is. It's just, it gets on my nerves, that does. So, yeah. So I wouldn't remove the leveling. What would I remove? It's difficult to say, really, isn't it, what I would remove from an Elder Scrolls game? Because I don't like removing things. I like adding things. People generally react badly to you removing things. I mean, I don't know. I think maybe I would remove, and that's kind of gone to an extent actually with Skyrim, I would remove some of the really cliche naff guilds, like Fighters Guild, Mages Guild, Thieves Guild. Like, why do we have to have guilds that are so specifically based around character types? Why can't we have guilds that are actual political organisations, like the Great Houses in Morrowind, who obviously were to an extent based on, well, the three that appeared in Morrowind anyway, not discounting the other two, but the three that appeared in Morrowind, you know, they were kind of based on Redoran warriors, Telvanni for mages, Hlali for sneaks and stuff, but you could mix them around a bit, even so, you know. You could be a battle mage in Redoran, or you could be a warrior in Hlali. You could still do it at the end of the day. It wasn't a specific thing laid down in the name of the guild, you know, like Mages Guild or Fighters Guild. I would get rid of that, I think. As I've always said before, the role-playing aspect has always been one of the strongest things about the Elder Scrolls games. So I would say give us factions we can join based on politics, you know, or, you know, and stuff like that. So like the Great Houses of Morrowind, if you include all 5 of them. So you've got, yeah, you've got Redoran, Telvanni, and Hlali, which are kind of like warrior, mage, and sneaks. But you've also got Indoril and Dres, who are far less clear-cut. Like, how do you categorize Indoril and Dres in terms of which character class type they belong to? And the answer is you can't. They're those two factions are simply characterized by their political affiliations and outlook on the world and stuff like that. And that's what I'd like to see more of. So I would like to see less of the standard, bog standard kind of generic guilds that we do have in the maybe the older Elder Scrolls games like Morrowind and Oblivion. You know, they kind of got rid of it a bit in Skyrim by changing it up and having the companions instead of the Fighters Guild, and that opens it up slightly because you don't necessarily have to be a warrior to be in the companions. You could be a battle mage if you wanted to, maybe, or maybe an archer. You know, like maybe a slightly sneaky archer type guy and be in the companions, because at the end of the day they want great warriors in the abstract sense, like as in people who are good at fighting, not necessarily people who are very strictly, rigidly using a sword and shield and never use any magic or anything like that. I mean, I know a couple of the characters in the companions frown on magic use, and some of them frown on being sneaky, but it's never written down and codified in the name of the bloody guild, after all, is it? You know, they're based on the 500 companions of Ysgramor, and I'm pretty sure at least some of the companions of Ysgramor might have been sneaky archers or mages. I know at least one of them, and it's written in one of the Songs of the Return books. At least one of Ysgramor's companions could breathe fire. So, you know, so that's why I'd like to see less of the generic boring guilds, and more interesting ones that are a bit more varied and strange, and, you know, are defined less by in-game character skills and class types, and more by how they integrate into the province and the world itself. So, anyway. Oh boy, we've got a lot. We're nearly there. We're getting towards the end of the questions. It's taken a bloody long time, but there it is. Okay, yeah. Are you going to play the Elder Scrolls Online? Yes. Stop asking. Nornable One asks, why is Morrowind your favourite Elder Scrolls game? And, okay, like, I'm going to do a video on this, but you want the really short answer: the world. The world, the province of Vardenfell itself, is the reason why Morrowind's my favourite game. Todd Howard himself has said in the past that in the Elder Scrolls games, the land itself is the main character. And I would agree with him in that assumption. And Morrowind's my favourite because how do you judge how interesting a character is at the end of the day? You judge them by how much depth they have to them, and how much depth does Vardenfell have compared to, say, Cyrodiil or Skyrim? The answer is a lot more depth, and that's why. And because it's an open world game, and like Todd Howard kind of implied, in an open world game, the world itself is the most important thing in the game. Full stop. You know, all the other stuff like combat systems and magic systems and quest directions and all this trivial little bits of bollocks are all window dressing at the end of the day. Because in an open world game like the Elder Scrolls, the most important thing is the world itself. And in Morrowind, the world itself is the best of the three. The three most recent ones anyway. Morrowind has the best world, and therefore that's why it's my favourite game of the bunch. And like I said, I'm going to do a video which goes into far more depth than what I just said at some point, but that in a nutshell is why Morrowind is my favourite game still, even now. Anyway, moving on and on and on and on up the list. Okay, Mr. Firewolf18 asked, who are your top 3 favourite NPCs in Skyrim? Also, what genre of music do you most like? I already answered the music thing before, but one of my top 3 favourite NPCs in Skyrim. Okay, well, you know what, this might not actually be a difficult thing to answer. I thought it might be, but it sort of isn't. I think the top 3 NPCs in Skyrim, thus far, of course, I've not played Dragonborn, and I'm reliably informed there are a lot of interesting NPCs in Dragonborn, so bear that in mind. But as of this date, my favourite 3 NPCs in Skyrim are Serana, by a country mile, followed by General Tullius and Ulfric Stormcloak. Those are my 3 favourite characters in Skyrim. Easily. Definitely easily. Easily. Yeah, those are my 3 favourite characters. As for why, a whole bunch of reasons that I don't really have time to explain, but they're probably the most complex and interesting of all the characters in the game. I think Parthenex comes a close 4th, possibly. But there you go. They're the three most interesting and complex, and they have the most depth of all the characters in the game. Tullius, Ulfric, and Serana, as far as I'm concerned, in my opinion, my humble opinion. So there you go. Moving up. Oh, hello, Fish Kittles, aka Raven. How you doing? I'm sure you've got some wonderful question for me. Oh, yeah, good. I expected no less. Have you ever done any drugs, legal or illegal? Well, I've obviously done legal drugs, like freaking alcohol. I've smoked before once or twice. I've used painkillers. As for illegal drugs, I couldn't possibly comment. Couldn't possibly comment at all. I mean, yeah, I mean, well, you know, couldn't possibly comment at all. No, sir. No, sir. Jesus Christ, man. I went to college for a year, and now I'm at university. I'm in my early 20s. You work it out for yourself. Okay. Not that I endorse anything. I would not want that to be construed as officially endorsing a damn thing. Not at all. Like I said, I could not possibly comment. Anyway, moving on. Hey Jingles, don't know if you remember there was a Variax stream a while ago. Someone changed their nickname to Variax and you kicked them from the stream. I have a screenshot of you kicking Variax from his own stream. Yes, I remember that. It was relatively amusing. Your question is, when did you decide to start doing YouTube and why? And if someone inspired you, who? We already kind of answered this a bit. When I decided to start doing YouTube, well, when I decided I'd start doing YouTube was a little while ago, quite a fair few years ago. But when I actually started, obviously, you can see on my channel page because it'll say date joined. But yeah, and why? Kind of already answered that. And if someone really inspired me in particular, it would probably be all the Let's Players I watched in the past, up to the point where I got to Variax and I saw his interactive Morrowind Let's Play, and that was really what gave me the kick up the arse and made me think, yes, this is something I could definitely do. So yeah, if I'm honest, I wouldn't be Let's Playing today were it not for Variax. So, you know, fair play to him. Much appreciated all the support he's given me over the short time I've been doing this hobby, you know. So yeah, he's a great guy. I really appreciate everything he's done. Couldn't emphasize that more. In fact, I'm kind of blowing him off at the minute by having to do this video while his 24-hour stream is on right now. So I'm probably going to wrap this up soon and go back to that. So indeed, we are almost at the end of all the comments, actually. So thank God for that, right? In fact, there's only... Yeah, there's one last comment. Actually, that's not true. There is one more after that. That that isn't actually on the comments here. That was asked me via a different medium. But anyway, okay. So second to last comment. I mean question. Or whatever. Is from Queen Chaotica. And that is, what is Idris' sexual orientation? And does he have any idea of an other half? Or is he attracted to someone? And how about you? The answer is, Idris and my good self are both straight as an arrow. Sorry to disappoint. And as for whether or not Idris has any idea of another half, it's sort of not very high on his priority list, really. At the end of the day, it's very difficult to actually kind of get him romantically involved with anyone, because they're that would actually require me to install some sort of companion mod, which kind of would sort of, you know, work to that effect and that would fit with his character and stuff like that. So it's kind of almost a bit difficult to say, really. But, you know, who knows what he might get up to after the Oblivion LP ends, you know. Who knows? Maybe he'll settle down, have a wife, kids. No idea. No idea whatsoever. Okay, so I'm going to pause for a minute while I get this other thing up, this other final question, because it's on a different screen and stuff, so hang on a second.